Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we continue reading today morning from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10. Does anyone remember any main point from yesterday's reading?
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
yesterday we were
Krishna.
hearing about this Hare Krishna. So yesterday we were reading about how the souls are eternally spiritual actually, and they have spiritual desires and activities. Unalloyed devotion to the service of the Lord is the only spiritual desire that they have. But they have a free will also, and so as soon as one has that material desire, then they lose their spiritual identity, and all the paraphernalia of one's life are deviated from the original Krishna consciousness, and they are into material misery because they have the free will to choose Maya, or they have the free will to choose Krishna. So if they are in the eternal service of the Lord, if they are into devotional service, by hearing and chanting, engaging all the senses in the devotional service of the Lord, they they have uh, they have the two side effects. One is they would be free from the material designation or bodily identification, or the other one would be that they will be simply engaged always in the eternal service of the Lord. And we also and their minds are purified, their senses are purified. Yeah, and then we also heard about the transcendental loving relationship that one has with the Lord in any of the five rasas, as servant, friend, father, mother, or a conjugal mother. Conjugal,
Conjugal love.
is it? Yes, conjugal love. Sorry. So that's they are uh, they have they are different yet equal in opulences with Lord Krishna. Oneness with him. Achintya Bheda Bhava Tattva. Yeah.
Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva.
Abheda Tattva.
Mm.
Hare Krishna.
Bheda Abheda. Okay, thank you. All right, so going on to today's verse, text 12. Katha Madhya Jushamana Priyastvam
Katha Madhya Jushamana Priyastvam
Priyastua
Aveshya Mam Atmani Santamekam
Aveshimam
Aveshamam Atmani
Santam
Santam
Ekam
Ekam
Sarveshu Bhuteshu Adhiyakyamisham
Sarveshu
Sarveshu
Bhuteshu
Bhuteshvar Adhiyagya
Adhyayakisham
Isham
Yajasva Yogena Chakarma Hinvan.
Yajasva
Yajasvayogena
Yogena
Chakarmahivan.
Chakarmahivan.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It does not matter that you are in the material world. You should always continuously hear the instructions and messages given by me and always be absorbed in thought of me, for I am the super soul existing in the core of everyone's heart. Therefore, give up fruitive activities and worship me. Who is speaking this verse?
Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Krishna.
Lord Nishingadev. Yeah, Lord Nishingadev is speaking to Prahlāda Maharaj because he said, okay, anyway, you don't want any material benediction, but I'm still going to benedict you that you can enjoy your kingdom for as long as Manu lives, which we calculated yesterday, like 305,300,000 years, somewhere there. So here Lord Nishingadev is telling him, you will be living in this world, doesn't matter. But what you do, you continuously hear the instructions and hear my messages, and in like that, you always think of me. When a devotee becomes materially very opulent, one should not think that he's enjoying the results of his fruitive activities. A devotee in this material world uses all material opulences for the service of the Lord because he's planning how to serve the Lord with these opulences as advised by the Lord himself. So, devotee, when he is opulent, is not because of karma. It is personally given by the Lord because Lord knows that this devotee, he is going to use all this opulence to engage others in Krishna consciousness. He's going to use it to serve the Lord. Whatever material opulence is within his possession, he engages to expand the glories and service of the Lord. A devotee never performs any fruitive or ritualistic ceremony to enjoy the results of such karma. Rather, a devotee knows that karma kand is meant for the less intelligent man. Narottam Das Thakur says in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Karma kand, Gyan kand, Kevala Vishera Bhand. Both karma kand and Gyan kand, fruitive activities and speculation about the Supreme Lord, are like pots of poison. Vishera Bhanda. They are like pots of poison. One who is attracted to Karmakand and Gyankand spoils his existence as a human being. Therefore, a devotee is never interested in Karmakand or Gyankand, but is simply interested in favorable service to the Lord, Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam, or cultivation of spiritual activities in devotional service. So, devotee, why he knows that they are pots of poison? Karmakand, Gyankand. Why is pots of poison?
Because it's temporary. It will still keep him in this material world.
Temporary.
Cannot go back.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Temporary. Bhogena punyam kushalena papam
Bhogena punyam kushalena papam
kalevaram kalajavena hitva
kalevaram kalajavena hitva
kirtim vishudham suraloka gitam
Kirtim vishuddham suralokagitam
vitaya mam eshyasi mukta bandha.
Vetayam
bandha.
My dear Prahlad, while you are in this material world, you will exhaust all the reactions of pious activity by feeling happiness, and by acting piously, you will neutralize impious activity. Because of the powerful time factor, you will give up your body, but the glories of your activities will be sung in the upper planetary systems. And being fully freed from all bondage, you will return home back to Godhead. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Evam Prahlādasyam Shena Sadhana Siddhatvam Nitya Siddhatvam Cha Naradadivaj Geyam. There are two classes of devotees, the Sadhana Siddha and the Nitya Siddha. Prahlad Maharaj is a mixed Siddha, that is, he is perfect partly because of executing devotional service and partly because of eternal perfection. Thus, he is compared to such devotees as Narad. Formerly, Narad Muni was the son of a maidservant, and therefore, in his next birth, he attained perfection, sadhana siddhi, because of having executed devotional service. Yet, he is also a Nitya Siddha, because he never forgets the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Prahlad Maharaj is mixed sadhana siddha and nitya siddha. Nitya siddha are those who are in the spiritual world. Sadhana siddha are the ones who, by engaging in devotional service, are becoming perfect. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that Prahlad Maharaj is like Narad Muni. Narad Muni is also like that. He was the son of a maidservant. He engaged devotional service and he became a sadhana siddha. But he's also a nitya siddha. Why? Because he's already perfect now. He's already perfect. So once he's become perfect, there's no difference. He's always remembering the Lord. Okay. The word kushalena is very important. One should live in the material world very expertly. The material world is known as the world of duality because one sometimes has to act impiously and sometimes has to act piously. Although one does not want to act impiously, the world is so fashioned that there is always danger. Padam padam yat vipadam. Thus, even when performing devotional service, a devotee has to create many enemies. Prahlāda Maharaj himself had experience of this, for even his father became his enemy. A devotee should expertly manage to think always of the Supreme Lord, so that the reactions of suffering cannot touch him. This is the expert management of Papa Punya, pious and impious activities. An exalted devotee like Prahlāda Maharaj is Jivan Mukta. He is liberated even in this very life, in the material body. So Jivan Mukta means already liberated, being in the material body, yet the consciousness is pure, completely Krishna conscious. So being in the world but not of this world, understanding how to live in the world, always remembering Krishna. And here Prabhupada is saying that if always by always remembering Krishna, then one is always happy. One does not suffer. Although sufferings may come, but one does not feel the pain by always being connected to Krishna, by engaging in devotional service. Suffering comes to everyone, even one may be Jivan Mukta, so the suffering may come, but he will not feel the pain because he is always remembering Krishna, connected to Krishna. Comments? Questions?
How the Haridas Thakur is a great example. Kunti Maharani, like the suffering came, but they they were very happy that Krishna is with them, and she always prayed that Krishna, may the suffering come because then you'll be with us
Yeah,
during the suffering. Yeah.
that's true.
So just a clarification, for the clarification purpose, that Prahlad Maharaj is both Sadhana Siddha and Nitya Mukta, and they are called the mixed
Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha.
Sadhana
Prahlāda
Siddha. So,
Maharaj.
and yeah, Prahlad Maharaj is both,
And
and
Narad Muni is
they are
also both.
Narad Muni is also both, and they are called the mixed
Yeah,
Mishrit, right? They are called
yeah,
both. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Sadhana Siddha and Nitya Siddha. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Partly because he did devotional service, that's why he became perfect, and
Hmm.
also he was eternally perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ya etat kirtayen mayam
एतत्
एतत्
कीर्तयेन् मह्यम्
कीर्तयेन्मह्यम्
tvaya gitam idam naraha
त्वया
त्वया
गीतम्
गीतम्
इदं
इदं
नरः
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 tvam cha mam cha smaran kale
त्वां
त्वां
च
च
मां
मां च
स्मरन्
स्मरन्
काले
काले
स्मरन्काले
karma bandhat pramuchyate.
कर्मबन्धात्
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 प्रमुच्यते.
प्रमुच्यते
प्रमुच्यते.
One who always remembers your activities and my activities also, and who chants the prayers you have offered, becomes free in due course of time from the reactions of material activities. Here it is stated that anyone who chants and hears about the activities of Prahlad Maharaj and in relationship with Prahlad's activities, the activities of Nishimadev, gradually becomes free from all the bondage of fruitive activities. So, this is the benediction Lord Nishingadev himself is saying that somebody who's remembering Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nishingadev, no, the Lord and the devotee, we cannot separate them. When we are speaking of the devotee, the Lord is there. When we are speaking of the Lord, the devotee is there. And the prayers, if we hear the prayers which are chanted by Prahlad Maharaj, hear them or chant them, then gradually one can be free from karma, bondage of fruitive activities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.15, 2.56, Yamhina vyathayanti ete purusham purusharshaba samma dukkha sukham dhiram so mrittatvaya kalpate. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Dukkeshva anudvigna mana sukheshu vikata spiraha vita raga bhaya krodha sthitadir munir uchyate. One who is not disturbed in spite of the threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. A devotee should not be aggrieved in an awkward position, nor should he feel extraordinarily happy in the material opulence. This is the way of expert management of material life. Because a devotee knows how to manage expertly, he is called Jivan Mukta. So Prabhupada here is mentioning Krishna's instructions that how to live in this world, how Krishna is saying to live. That be steady, don't get overwhelmed by happiness and distress. Be steady, and in this way you can get liberated. Don't get too disturbed when there are miseries, don't get too elated when there's happiness. And giving up attachment, fear, and anger. Attachment, whenever there's attachment, there is fear and anger. We are too attached, then we get fearful of losing it. We are too attached, we want to get more. We don't get more, we get angry. So, also, Prabhupada in the purport, attachment, fear, and anger, Prabhupada also is saying attachment to thinking that we are the body. So, we need to give up that attachment to think we are the body. Fear of having a spiritual identity. The Gyanis, they want to merge, give up their individuality because of fear of continuing with the individuality, and anger because people hear so much about so many different philosophies that they get confused and then angry over some because somebody speaking of voidism, somebody speaking impersonalism. So then one may get angry in that. So Prabhupada explains in that purport that give up all this and become steady in Krishna consciousness. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that not to be aggrieved in an awkward position or extraordinarily happy in material opulence. So then, but we have emotions, right? We can't block ourselves out. Doesn't mean we don't show affection. We do show affection, but not being overly attached, not being overwhelmed by it. Because someone may think, okay, I don't need to be attached, so let me be rude or let me, and it's not that. Affection is very natural. It is going to happen, but not to be overwhelmed by it. And then, of course, a devotee, when what comes to my mind here would be like Tatenukampam. A devotee, when the devotee is suffering, he says that, okay, it's due to my karma. I would have suffered more, but Krishna is taking away the suffering. And when the devotee is happy, then he understands, oh, I don't deserve it, but Krishna is giving me this encouragement. So relating both, either happiness or distress, to Krishna. And then we may be able to actually become steady, because it's difficult for us to become steady. We get overwhelmed when we have some stress, some problem, some anxiety, we get overwhelmed by it. When we have some good news, we get overwhelmed by being too happy. But if we can relate both of them to Krishna, then it can give us some sort of steadiness. As Rupa Goswami explains in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Iha yasya harer dasye karvana manasagyara nikhilasva api avastha sujivan mukta socyate. a person acting in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, in the service of Krishna with his body, mind, intelligence, and words, is a liberated person even within this material world, although he may be engaged in many so called material activities. Because of constantly engaging in devotional service in any condition of life, a devotee is free from all material bondage. So, pure devotee, although he's in the material world, he's inside the material body, but because his consciousness is purified, he's Krishna conscious, because he's serving Krishna with his body, with his mind, with his intelligence, with his words, everything that he's doing is for the pleasure of Krishna. He is liberated even though he is in the material world. Jivan Mukta Sa Uchyate. He's called a liberated person. And he does not have any karma. He's not working under the modes of nature. He's not getting any karma. He's not creating a new karma, nor is he um undergoing any karmic reaction. He's only acting for the pleasure of Krishna. This is, of course, a pure devotee. Even Bhakti Punati Mannishtha Shwapakan Api Sambhavat. Even one born in a family of meat eaters is purified if he engages in devotional service. Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 14, Text 21. Srila Jiva Goswami cites this verse and logically supporting that anyone who chants about the pure life and activities of Prahlāda Maharaj is freed from the reactions of material activities. So, hearing about the devotees is also devotional service because the devotees' activities are always intertwined with the Lord's activities. You know, we hear of Dhruv Maharaj, we will hear about Krishna. We are hearing Prahlāda Maharaj, we will hear about Lord Nishingadev, right? Devotee and the Lord. So, they are pure activities. And that's how it helps us to get rid of our karma. When we hear of materialistic people, we get more and more bound in karma. We get more karma, get more reactions. When we are hearing of these Mahabhagavats, we are hearing of these great devotees, it's helping us to get free of our karma, helping us to get free of this bondage of material life. Isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
Any comments? Questions? No questions? No comments? No? I mean, it's,
Huh?
you know, we like to hear
Uh,
or talk. Huh? I'm sorry.
Sardi.
Hmm? I'm sorry, I
So
couldn't hear you very
beautiful.
well.
Just by hearing the
Ye-
about Prahlad Maharaj and all the pure devotees, imagine it purifies you also. It gives
Yeah.
you relaxation.
See, we don't have to do anything great austerity, great penance. We simply hear about Prahlad Maharaj, hear about Lord Nishingadev, and we can get free of our karma. Isn't it so simply wonderful?
Mm.
Shri Prahlāda Vachan,
Shri Prahlāda
Prahlad
Vacha,
Vacha,
Varam Varaya Etate,
Varam Varaya
Paramaraya
Etate,
Ekate,
Varadeshan Maheshwara,
Varadeshan
Varadeshan Maheshwara,
Maheshwara,
Yad Anindat Pitame,
Yad Andat Pitami,
Pitame,
Tvam Avidvam Steja Aishwaram,
Tvam
Tvam
Avidvam
Avidvam
Teja
Seja
Aishwaram,
Eshwaram,
Vida Amra Shashaya Sakshat,
Vid Amar Shasaya
Shastaya
Saksha,
Saksha,
Sarva Loka Gurum Prabhum,
Sarvaloka
Sarvaloka
Gurum Prabhum,
Prabhu,
Bhratar Heti Mrisha Drishtis,
Ratra
Rate
Neti Vishadrishti
Drishtis
Vad Bhakte Mai Chagavan.
Vad Bhakti Mai
Bhakti
Chagavan
Chagava
Tasmat Pita Me Puyeta.
Tasmat
Tasmat
Pitami
Pita Me
Puyeta
Puyeta
Durantad Dustarat Agad.
Duranta
Duranta
Dustarat
Dusrat
Agat
Agat
Utaste Panga Samdrishtas.
Taste
Putaste
Panga
Pangasam
Samdrashtas
Tada Kripana
Publish.
Vatsala.
Tada
Tada
Kripana
Tripana
Vatsala.
Vatsala
Prahlad Maharaj said, O
करनी पड़ेगी ना फिर
Supreme.
तो.
Okay. O Supreme Lord, because you are so merciful to the fallen souls, I ask you for only one benediction. I know that my father, at the time of his death, had already been purified by your glance upon him. But because of his ignorance of your beautiful power and supremacy, he was unnecessarily angry at you, falsely thinking that you were the killer of his brother. Thus, he directly blasphemed your lordship, the spiritual master of all living beings, and committed heavily sinful activities directed against me, your devotee. I wish that he be excused for these sinful activities. So, Prahlad Maharaj, he's not saying, oh my God, my father did such bad things to me. How could he do that? He's in fact telling Lord Nishingadev, you please forgive him. Although Hiranyakashipu was purified as soon as he came in contact with the Lord's lap and the Lord saw him, Prahlad Maharaj still wanted to hear from the Lord's own mouth that his father had been purified by the Lord's causeless mercy. Prahlad Maharaj offered this prayer to the Lord for the sake of his father. As a Vaishnav son, despite all the inconveniences imposed upon him by his father, he could not forget his father's affection. So Prahlad is saying, although I know you saw him, so he's already purified, then you put him on your lap. Well, he's purified because the Lord's body is transcendental, right? The Lord's nails are transcendental. Lord Nishingadev's nails are not material, transcendental. So he pierced Hiranyakashipu with that. Already Prahlad is saying, I know he's already purified, but still, you also tell me that you don't take don't take offense, because Krishna takes offense against his devotees very seriously, right? So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, making sure that Nishingadev will forgive his father. Shri Bhagwan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Tri Saptabhi Pitaputa
He Saptabhihi Pitaputah
Pitribhi Sahate Naga
Pitrabhihi Sahate Anavaha
Yat Sadosya Kule Jato
Yat Sadhasya Kule Jate
Bhavan Ve Kula Pavana.
Bhavanve Kule Pavanaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Prahlad, O most pure, O great saintly person, your father has been purified, along with 21 forefathers in your family. Because you were born in this family, the entire dynasty has been purified. The word Tri Saptabhi means 7 multiplied by 3. In one's family, one can count back 4 or 5 generations to one's great grandfather or even one's great grandfather's father. But since the Lord mentions 21 forefathers, this indicates that the benediction expands to other families also. Before the present family in which one has taken birth, one must have been born in other families. Thus, when a Vaishnav takes birth in a family, by the grace of the Lord, he purifies not only that family, but also the families of his previous births. So here Lord Nishingadev is saying 21 generations of yours are purified. So Srila Prabhupada is putting in the purport that we can count, if we count back, father's father, grandfather, grandfather's father, great grandfather, great grandfather's father. Huh? So that will become great-grandfather. Then we can go 4-5 generations, Prabhupada is saying. But 21 generations, how we can understand? So Prabhupada is explaining, we can understand that one is not only um, purifying this life. If one is a Vaishnava, then he is not only purifying the ancestors in the current family, but also of his previous births, his forefathers and his father, his families of the previous birth. Amazing, no? So because Prahlāda Maharaj he's a Mahabhagavat. He's so powerful, he's so pure that he's purifying not only his current family, but family of previous life, previous birth. So we actually, if we really want to do any service for our ancestors, our forefathers, we want to pay back the what we say, the debt to our forefathers, then we need to become a devotee of Krishna. And in this way, we can give them the highest benefit. Yatra yatra cha madbhakta
Yatra yatra cha madbhaktaah
prashanta samadarshina
prashantah samadarshina
Samadharshana
sadhava samudacharas
sadhavah
Sadhava
samudacharas
Samudacharas
te puyante piki kataha.
te
Te
puyante
Yanti
vikikatah.
Whenever and wherever they are peaceful, equipoised devotees who are well behaved and decorated with all good qualities, that place and the dynasties there, even if condemned, are purified. Wherever exalted devotees stay, not only they and their dynasties, but the entire country is purified. So the Vaishnava is so powerful, so pure, that where he goes, he's purifying not only his family, but not only his dynasty, but the entire country. Sarvat manahi sarvatmana na himsanti
Sarvatmana himsanti
Sarvatmanana Himsanti
bhutagrameshu kinchana
bhutagrameshu
Bhutagrameshu
kinchana
Kinchana
ucchavacheshu daitendra
uchavache
Uchavasteshu
daitendra
Jitendra
madbhava vigata spraha.
madbhava
Madbhava
vigataspraha.
Vigatasvaraha.
My dear Prahlad, king of the Daityas, because of being attached to devotional service to me, my devotee does not distinguish between lower and higher living entities. In all respects, he is never jealous of anyone. So the Lord is telling uh, Prahlad Maharaj that the devotee does not have any envy. He is attached to devotional service. He's attached to the Lord. And that's how he's not envious of anyone. So if we at all want to give up this envy that is in our heart, we need to become devotees. Then we can give up this envy. Bhavanti purusha loke
Bhavanti Purusha Loke
madbhaktasvam anuvrataha
Madbhakta Swam Anuvrataha
Vrataha
bhavan me khalu bhaktanam
Bhavan Me Khalu Bhaktanam
Bhaktanam
sarvesham pratirupadrik.
Sarvesham Pratiru
Pratirupadre.
Those who follow your example will naturally become my pure devotees. You are the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps. Here, Lord Nishingadev is giving an instruction. He's instructing us to follow the footsteps of Prahlāda Maharaj, not imitate him, but follow his instructions as he's given in his prayers. In this connection, Srila Madhvacharya quotes a verse from the Skand Puran. Ritetu tatvikan devan naradadim statheva cha Prahlādat Uttama Kono Vishnu Bhaktau Jagatraye. There are many, many devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they have been enumerated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20 as follows. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlādo Janako Bhishmo Balir Sakir Vayam. Of the 12 authorized devotees, Lord Brahma, Narad, Lord Shiva, Kapila, Manu, and so on, Prahlāda Maharaj is understood to be the best example. So this is what Srila Madhvacharya is quoting. Skand Puran is saying that. Skand Puran, that Prahlāda Maharaj is the best of the Mahajans, best example to follow. So, Guru Tvam Preta Krityani
Gurutvam Preta Krityani
Jnani
Pitu Putasya Sarvashaha
Pitu Puttasya
Putasya
Sarvashaha
Mad Anga Sparsha Nenanga
Mad
Angasparshane
Lokan Yasyati Suprajaha.
Lokan Yasati Suprajaha.
Loka
My dear child, your father has already been purified just by the touch of my body at the time of his death. Nonetheless, the duty of a son is to perform the Shraddh ritualistic ceremony after his father's death, so that his father may be promoted to a planetary system where he may become a good citizen and devotee. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although Hiranyakashipu was already purified, he had to take birth on a higher planetary system to become a devotee again. Prahlāda Maharaj was advised to perform the ritualistic ceremony as a matter of etiquette, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead under no circumstances wants to stop the regulative principles. Madhva Muni also instructs Matu Kaitabho Bhakti Abhava Durau Bhagavato Mrito Tama Eva Kramat Apto Bhaktya Chedho Harim Yayo. When the demons, Madhu and Kaitab, were killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their kinsmen also observed the ritualistic ceremonies so that these demons could return home back to Godhead. So Prabhupada is also quoting Madhva Muni. It seems that when Madhu and Kaitab, when they were killed, then their relatives or families or friends, kinsmen, it's written here, they also did their last rites, the rituals which are performed when somebody dies, as a matter of etiquette. And here it seems the demons went home back to Godhead. Huh? They were killed by the Lord Hayagriva, right? And here Hiranyakashipu, of course, he takes birth again. He doesn't go back to Godhead. But as a matter of etiquette, here we are understanding that as a matter of etiquette, Lord Nishingadev is saying, although your father got purified, but still you do your duty of the last rites as a son has to do. Is that okay? Comments? If all okay, then we'll stop here.
Yes.
No questions, no comments. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.